Okay, guys, welcome to a very special chat that we're about to have. Something we haven't done on this page before. We've got a very special guest joining us. Those of you who have been at Tomorrowland might recognise this guy's face. If you haven't, I'm sure if you've been there, the moment he starts talking, you'll probably know who he is. Of course, I'm talking about the voice of Tomorrowland, the one and only MC Stretch. How are you, mate?
I'm very good. How are you, sir?
See, you're just having your breakfast there.
Yeah. Just warming up for the breakfast. Yeah. How's you in Australia? How you all doing?
Yeah, we're doing well over here, mate. Middle of summer, and I think we're all getting ready for the annual pilgrimage over to Tomorrowland again. So
yeah, we missed a lot of you last year, man.
Yeah, I sat out last year. It's the first one I've missed since 2016, and I must admit the FOMO was pretty rough. So
yeah.
It's good to be back.
Well, we missed your presence, brother. We missed your presence big time.
I'll be back in spirits this year, mate. Don't worry about that.
Right. So, wonderful.
Yeah, look,
so everybody's like, how many people have got the tickets already? Do you know?
No idea. Look, our page has grown out to over 15,000 people now. So from when we first created it back in 2016, it's just grown and grown and grown. So it's pretty hard for us to gauge how many we've got, but we generally do have a very big following come over. So
yeah, you always turn up with the mass en masse.
It's us versus the Swiss for some reason. I don't know why, but the Swiss always seem to have a pretty good showing, and the Israelis.
Yeah, they do. That's true. Yeah, but Brazil. The countries from South America last summer were massive. The Brazilians especially.
Yeah. I've got a really close Brazilian friend, and she's going over as well. So there'll be a bit of a showing there as well, I'm sure. So
well, yeah, we're going back there as well this year. So
yeah, it's something I wanted to have a chat to you about at some point. So we'll get to the Brazil side of things, because it's a bit of it's really good to see that back on the card. I think it'll be an interesting to see how it goes again.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, look, thanks very much for doing this. Special shout out to Owen, our mutual friend, who's probably the most random bloke I think any of us have ever actually met, for setting this one up. Look, let's get started with can you tell us the story about how you became the voice of Tomorrowland? How did you end up with that job?
Well, it sort of goes back to working with Tiesto and then Armin. And then Armin got invited to, I think it was the first time, the first time I was there. I can't remember the dates anymore. I'm terrible. And I think Above and Beyond were hosting the tent. I think it could have well have been a State of Trance. I'm not sure. I went in there and hosted for them because they wanted me to host. And then Armin was closing the main stage. And they asked me to come up with him to close the main stage, and then from the next year onwards, I've always been hosting the main stage.
It must be. Does it still? Do you still pinch yourself that you're up there in front of all those people and doing what you're doing?
It's what I'm supposed to be doing, mate. It took me a long time to find out what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm a preacher.
Yeah.
But in a different non-pedo way.
I love that. Look, I've had some pretty magical sorts of memories there myself, and this is probably a pretty tough question to ask you. But if you were to pinpoint one moment, what do you think what sort of stands out to you as one of your biggest moments there?
Oh, wow. I mean, I've got so many, to be fair. Last year was very, very special because we had the extra weekend. So it was almost like the first weekend was very emotional.
Yeah.
Like really, I was seeing loads of just grown men crying and just next levels in like emotions. Everybody's emotions are out.
I've seen how people have seen cry there is ridiculous. I've cried just about every year.
Oh, mate, Quintino dropped this. I'm coming. Like, he put a shout out to his wife who was pregnant.
Yeah.
And said, "I'm coming home." He played the track, "I'm coming home," and I just went. It totally got me. I had to pop round the back, pull myself together, took him off, went back round, and me and him, the two of us had about a minute just cuddling and crying and laughing together.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he's welcoming in his child into a world that's like falling into darkness, and at the same time, here we are lighting it up again. It was just all it amalgamated, you know what I mean? And it was amazing. So that was kind of the first, and then the second weekend was like, okay, this is the re-up. This is who we are. You know, get yourselves together. This is you know this is what we're here for. And then of course you got the official weekend, which is always just that little bit
that
more.
last weekend. Yeah.
And that was when it just went, you know, everything just came out, and yeah, it was pucker. It was just a shame about the after party.
Yeah, Owen is still disappointed that he missed that weekend 3 after party. So,
well, you know, he got 2 in, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, he does it right for himself. Let's
he
face
does,
it. Yeah. Look, when you're up there, is a lot of what you're saying. Do you have that pre-prepared, or do you go out there and just really sort of feel the crowd and make it up as you go?
Yeah, I've kind of got me regular lines, you know what I mean, which I love to try and get out to just remind everybody that it's me, because I don't, you know, that it's really crazy, because, you know, people say, why don't all these people know you, blah, blah, and I don't want the fame. I've seen the fame, and it's not a place where I want to be. I want to be remembered. Don't misunderstand me. So the legacy is what I'm all about. So the idea that, I don't know what I was talking about. I think it's time for me breakfast, bro.
Get it in here.
What was we talking about?
The guys who are like this.
What was the question? What was the question?
It was more about is what you're saying on the stage. Are you?
Yeah, no, it's just sorry. It's literally kind of living the moment, mate.
Yeah.
That's what I've discovered in life. It's like, it's not, you know, live today, love tomorrow, unite forever. So I'm living today, you know what I mean? And like I say, I've got my sort of standards, but then what's great is you know, not a lot of people see it. You've got to be there to sort of experience it. But the daybreak sessions allows me to, you know, have a couple of beers, warm up with the crowd, party with that daybreak session crew. So I've got at least 8, 10, 15, 25,000 throughout that morning that are on we're all on that same bus, you know what I mean? Yeah. So then as we move later on into the afternoon and the whole show begins, there's a certain bubblers crew that are going to be there throughout the day. And then of course, you know, as the evening grows on and the sun goes down, everybody, more and more people come. So there's already this electric vibe. So depending on and depending on who's playing and at what time, you know, the levels of energy just keep increasing. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I do. I just try to just glue that as best I can all together. You know.
Yeah. No, because you do a great job of like not making it repetitive every time. Like you don't just get it, because you're essentially getting up there and getting this crowd excited, introducing DJs. But no matter what you do, it never seems to be just cookie cutter, repetitive sorts of stuff. So you do a really good job of that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Means a lot.
Looking at the festival now, obviously, you know, it's evolved quite significantly since it started in 2005 and even since I've been going in 2016. What do you see as far as it going forward in the future? Where do you sort of see Tomorrowland heading from 5-10 years?
Yeah, I don't look too far into the future, but they just keep getting better and better and better.
People can't stop them. They always manage to.
You know, I know for sure they want to be on every continent.
Yeah.
You know, Belgium's home in Europe. You know, there was some talks and whispers about some stuff going on in Croatia. But you know, Brazil is sort of the Americas. You know, we attempted Atlanta, which was just an amazing location.
Tomorrowland,
unfortunately, the Americans, they fuck everything up anyway. So I guess they might want to go back there eventually on a different location, perhaps. You know, I'm pretty sure Australia is in there somewhere, mate.
Yeah.
You know, There's some good
this,
people down there. You know, the infrastructure's been in place for a good 30 years now. You know, there's, you know, I've personally worked with some amazing people over there as well. So who knows? You know,
yeah,
I just think it's only going to get bigger.
yeah. When you look at those,
bigger.
And before we started this, we were having a talk, and I asked you, are you excited for France? And you said, I don't really like the cold. With the winter version, and obviously Brazil coming back now, how do they sort of compare? I actually haven't done either of them, but how do they compare to the main event?
Well, there's no, this was amazing because you can't compare it, right? But the location for the winter edition.
Sorry, one sec. It's what? It's
Yeah.
to start strobing on me.
Bulbs on the way out.
Yeah, it's
the location of Alpe d'Huez is just incredible.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't I guess people do see these images, but you've got to imagine the festival is sort of up and up in the mountains, you know, and then you have the main terrain down in the village. So it's completely unique experience. And of course the vibes, and you know, a lot of the DJs are family now. So, you know, everybody wants to still be a part of it. So it's uniquely its own now. And Brazil as well, you know, when we went there before, the location was uncannily similar. You know,
Belgium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot more hilly, of course, but they're all uniquely different experiences under that same family. Because it's quite funny. I've been saying this to a few people in the last year or so, is that this is a family business.
Yeah.
Tomorrowland is a family business. As much as people think it might be, you know, this and that and the other, it's not. These are people that have grown up together, that are all creatively all on the same level, that want to change the world, that want to make, you know, this is the thing. DJ Conrad did the last Daybreak sessions last summer, and he's the creative director, Christoph. And, you know, he said, this is how we should be living our lives. This is how life should be.
Yeah.
You know, and there's only rules and legislation that allow us not to live that life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's all interconnected in my consciousness, which they're well aware of. You know what I mean? And you know, the Adsendo imagery, people are going, oh my God, it's full of Freemasonry symbolism, and, you know, this, that, and the other. But you have to understand they're charting a new route.
Yeah.
They're charting a new route for the consciousness, for the love, for, you know, for no division. We're one world.
Exactly.
You know, but yet the darkness are trying to split us as much as they can everywhere. And Tomorrowland is like, no, mate. No.
It's funny. I understand exactly what you're saying. I think anyone that's actually understands the same thing. I think before you go there for the first time, you watch all of the videos online, and you know, watch the after movies. Like, I know what this is about, and you know, and you hear love, peace, and unity, and you're like, yeah, whatever. But you go there, it's not. I remember saying this back in 2016. It's not a festival. It's something completely different. And until you've actually experienced it, you can't explain it to anyone.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and you know, you're one of the lucky ones being able to come all the way from Australia. Yeah. You know, but even the treatment for you know, for some people this is very, very expensive, and I understand that. And you know, that's unfortunate. You know, that situation where it's not for everybody to be able to achieve. Of course, it's selling out in seconds as well, which is really frustrating for a lot of people, no doubt. But there will be a time and a moment in your life where you will get that chance. And when you do go, you realize, oh shit, yeah, okay, I get it now.
This is what it is.
I get it now.
I love, one thing I love doing to people, and this is, I like to do this to people who have been to Tomorrowland the first time. I like asking them, explain Tomorrowland to me.
Yeah.
And I think there's only one answer that really sums it up, is that you can't.
Yeah.
You just can't explain it.
Well, I'm bringing my sister and my brother-in-law for the first time this year.
Oh, nice. I think Owen said he's
Yeah,
bringing his mum.
so
Yeah.
they're coming in. They're coming in the first year, so I can finally, they can finally see firsthand
What it is.
what it is. You know what I mean? What it is. You know, because we're a movement. I've said to people, we're a movement, mate. You know, so yeah, it's always nice to bring more people in on the movement.
Yeah, definitely agree. Look, it's good to be back. COVID was obviously pretty tough for a lot of people, myself included. I think for people in the entertainment industry, yourself alike, it would have been an absolute nightmare. How did you go through COVID? What did you sort of do to get by?
Firstly, I didn't believe it, so it was frustration at first by trying to tell people, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you listening to these people? But you know, I feel quite fortunate that, you know, when I moved to Holland, all I ever did was just go down the rabbit hole of world history. So I saw it come. I didn't realize it was going to come so far, so quickly. So it was very infuriating at first, but then, you know, fortunately, me and the missus are like 100 on everything with those kind of things, and we just soldiered on. We kept putting our middle finger up to everything. Really, we created our own little bubble. I was fortunate enough to do. We owned a night TV every Saturday night for a year, live TV.
Yep.
We got special, you know, there was loads of loopholes, of course, because none of it was illegal what they were doing. But you know, Holland is full of really badly. But that's another story for another time. So yeah, we just soldiered on, created a little bubble around the family. Went really deep on writing poetry. You know, yeah, just went in, had me live stream every Friday, you know, and it was nice because Alwyn kept popping in as well. So throughout the Corey and Bex were coming in, and loads of people from in Australia were coming in the early morning on the Friday night, you know, and then lots of people were coming in throughout that period, which was really, really cool. And all the time I'm telling them, you know, fuck government and all the rest of that. And so yeah, I was just chipping away at the consciousness of everybody, just saying, look, nobody should be able to tell you what to do. Please just get that in your head. So I felt like a soldier for a bit, you know. Had to go sniping for a while, and then I came off social media completely, which Alwyn was good enough to sort of take up and run with for me for the Instagram for a while. So that gave me a little relief. So I wasn't watching any of that for most of the 2 years, to be fair. Yeah, and throughout that time, my daughters were getting better and better at football. You know, the children could carry on sort of training, so we just marched on. So 2 times a week was busy, and then when the gym was closed, we were kind of, you know, fighting against why would they want to close gyms if it's about health, you know. So it was a stressful time in regards to finances. But in that time, I sort of went in and sort of went back into the system, started working, did a few hours in the week, you know. So we was able to keep our head above water for a while, and then funny enough, last year ended up being the best year ever, because of course towards the end of the summer, I had that I did the voice for Mal P on Jokes from Amsterdam.
That's exactly what that was going to be my next point is actually on that. So we went
went absolutely berserk, mate.
It's going nuts here. Like we went to Transmission 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We heard it at Transmission at least 3 times. We're going home in the Uber. It's on in the Uber. Someone puts a DJ set on YouTube when we're back at someone's house after. It shows up on there. It just kept happening and happening and happening. Now Owen tells me there's a little bit of a funny story about how this song came and where the actual vocals for that came from.
Well, that's all Maurice. Mal P is the genius behind it. There's a young guy. He's a very, very good producer since he started. I think it was like 16, 17 he started. And, you know, obviously the kids are influenced by the sound. So the big room sound was massive, you know, obviously for a while, Swedish House Mafia, etc. And you know, a lot of people when that whole entertainment industry got shut down, a lot of people had to reassess their lives. You know, if you're looking at doing gigs and there are no gigs, what are you going to do for money? So I think a lot of people sort of looked inward, and I know Maurice is a big fan of techno music. So he literally he went in, he's got like 10 tracks like that, mate. It was just like that track was just like one of the first of the 10 that are coming out. The kid's going to be one of the biggest producers in the world this year. You watch. And he's developed that, you know, that crossover from techno to big room.
Yeah.
And you know, unfortunately, it became a commercial hit, this track, and it was supposed to be an underground. You know, it was supposed to stay in the underground and get
explode that you don't really want to explode.
Well, just he wanted to expand his sound, but play, you know, for instance, Awakenings. He wants to play Awakenings. You know, this is one of his dreams as a young producer. So, but yeah. So what it was, I know his manager. He said I need a voice on it. My voice doesn't sound right. So for his manager, they contacted me. I went upstairs 10 minutes, did 3 takes. You know, I love the way Alice feels. Hey, you know, off my face, don't know where I am because I got my drugs from Amsterdam.
Yeah.
3 times. Went upstairs, sent it off to him. He took the first take, and I was still off social media at the time, and then my nephew was calling up from the UK going, "Uncle Martin, is that you?" I said, yeah. He said, "He's playing everywhere. Everyone's playing it." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So then I went to a couple of festivals in August because not many people had played it. I hadn't heard it at Tomorrowland. Funny enough, I didn't hear it at Tomorrowland. But then I went to the festivals, a couple of festivals in August, and everybody was playing it.
Everywhere.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I heard that.
I was getting a bit sick of it. I was going like, "Fucking hell, mate! Don't you listen to the other DJ? Don't you listen to the other DJ before you?" You know. And
I heard that vocal is actually and recorded actually onto the track is a WhatsApp message.
Okay, right, wicked. But yeah, no, that's all Maurice, mate. That's all Maurice. He's going to explode this year. He's a great producer. He's found a formula, you know, and it's good house music.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing what he's going to do. Roll the clock back a fair way. I'm going to give you a date, and I think this is probably going to stick in your mind as something that happened a few years ago. The 10th of May, 2003.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a bit of a special.
Changer.
Yeah, it was a bit of a special day for dance music.
Yeah, game changer. Well, funny enough, the year before 2002, you can find it. Tiesto at Lowlands. That was the very first time I'd worked with a fella. If you listen to the set, you'll understand why we wanted to work together. So I ended up working with him for like 5-6 years after that. But yeah, they asked me the year before, we got this planned, 25,000 people. Tiesto, 8 hours long. I was like, what? I really didn't even really know who the geezer was.
Yeah.
The year before 2002, didn't really know who he was. I'd heard the name, not a trance fan. They said, "Would you like to get involved?" I went, "Wait 1 second. One DJ for 25,000 people in a football stadium all night long? I'm in, mate. I'm in." So we went down a few months later. Core Fineman was, you know, the guy that sort of helped do some tweaks and look after sort of standard music. Went in with Core and Dimitri DeVitt, God rest his soul, and we recorded the intro. And then Tice walked in, and everybody just got goose pimples from that. You know, the scripted intro.
And it is iconic. That intro, and I think you say something like, "This is a day that's going to live on in dance music for a long time." And then he just a Days You Go for Strings pumps in after that, and it is econic. It really is.
Yeah, he made me famous. He made a lot of people famous. Make no mistake. You know, he created a whole ecosystem that will live forever.
Yeah.
And yeah, mate, I'll never have a bad word. As much as he might piss me off every now and then, you know, he's I'll never have a bad word said about that geezer.
Yeah. The other thing, and I only found this out a couple of days ago. Apparently, you used to do Stereosonic down here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
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 Richie McNeil, the King Don, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Richie is yeah. Funny enough, the first one I did was I did the Creamfields. Do you remember the Creamfields that came?
Yeah, we had Creamfields and Planet Cream, I think, if I remember correctly.
Well, there was a Creamfields we did. I can't remember what city we were in, and some geezer climbed up the what's the name? Climbed up the tower.
Yeah.
Alesso was on the gig. Guetta, Above and Beyond. Yeah, it was good. It was a decent, a decent crew representing for the Creamfields name.
Funny
But Stereosonic, I think.
It's funny looking at those old lineups now. Like if you go and pull up an old Stereosonic poster from 2010 or 2012, and you look at the lineup, I don't think we realised how good we had it back then.
Well, this was the thing. I think Stereosonic was already 2 years old before I came. Might well have been 3 years old, to be fair. But that was as a tour, and all the people that were involved, and how they moved it, and how everybody. It was insane, mate. It was an incredible operation. Which and I think that first year as well, there was they were threatening airline strikes.
Oh, really?
So Richie had to hire a private aeroplane.
Because a lot of the times they'd have acts playing in two cities on the same day.
Yeah, it was four.
They would have been in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide, and Perth, and they would generally run over 2 weekends.
Technically, Festival X is Stereosonic.
Yeah, kind of.
That's kind of it's actually the same sort of people. They're just obviously because the Americans again fucked it up. They bought into the brand.
Yeah.
And so I think it's sort of like a middle finger up to the Americans with the name sort of thing. But no, Richie, Richie's a Don, mate, and what's her name that she's married to Marlo?
Oh, Jeanette. Yeah.
Jeanette. Also, you got to listen. Trust me, mate. Got to salute Jeanette as well. She's also.
She's doing some great stuff, like absolutely fantastic stuff over here at the moment. A lot of the events going through Symbolic, so she's doing a fantastic job with them. The lineups that
she's
the production levels are great.
She's the trance flag, whatever. She's.
I'm a big trance fan, so.
Yeah, so salute to Jeanette as well.
Yeah. Look, last little question I've got for you. Like I said, we've got about 15,000 people on our page. A lot of those people are going to go the first time. It's a bit of a sensory overload when you get there, and there's a lot to take in. What would be your advice for first times and even veterans like myself to get the most out of it?
Yeah, you've got to try and get as much as the global package as you can, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It really, if you can get the global package ticket, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Not
so much from a ticket perspective, more from a festival experience.
That's it. It's with that level coming from a country far away. That I think there might still well be tickets for that still. Do you know what I mean? Because people think general admission will make our own way there.
Yeah.
But if you get that global package, you just pay that little extra, but then they're looking after you all the way there. So if you can do that. And then obviously once you get there, I would personally, if I'm coming in the main entrance, I'd go off to the right first, go off to the Freedom end first, go down that end first, and go check out all down there. Get on the big wheel, take a look over the site from that end, and then just slowly wander around because the main stage is ain't going anywhere.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's not. But that's actually good point. Something a lot of people forget is there's a lot more to Tomorrowland than just the main stage. I've known a lot of people to get stuck on there for days.
Yeah, there's like all hidden little places as well. Like obviously the core is now the secret forest. But yeah, that. But I would definitely get there before 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Get to the main stage before 5 o'clock. See the opening.
The opening's always good.
The opening is amazing because that's when the story starts to be told.
Yeah.
And then obviously, God knows what the main stage is going to look like this year.
I was just going to ask, have you got? And I don't want any spoilers, but have you got any insights into? Do you get any spoilers before, or do you see it a day or two?
I don't want to. I don't want to get. I don't want any spoilers. I will see an image. You know that the image will come in a day or two before from people that are working on the site. You know, my family sort of thing. They'll sending. They'll be like, this is your office stretch. You know, it's like
it's not a bad office.
Exactly. So yeah, no, I don't want any spoilers, mate. I love to sort of have that same experience as well.
Yeah, I love it. There's nothing better than just like I always stay in Dreamville, walking over the hill and just seeing that main stage just appear down below. There's nothing.
Well, that's my favourite view.
Yeah.
Of the festival is when you mob from Dreamville will come over that hill.
Over that rise.
And you can see that, and then you see the thingy for the first time, and then you slowly but surely people will take the photos, have a gathering. They'll all take their photos on the hill, and you see them slowly coming down.
Yeah.
And that's the moment when I come. That's when I come alive. Yeah. That's when it really goes for me, just like it, you know, because I can literally see every single individual. When I focus, I can see. Oh,
you always see the look on their face of just that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's the one. Seeing the whole world coming over the top.
Yeah, there is nothing better.
No.
All right, mate. Well, look, I'll let you get back to your breakfast.
Thanks,
really
sir.
Appreciate you taking the time to do this. It's been a great chat. And we'll catch up in July, mate, no doubt.
Absolutely. And anybody that's coming to Tomorrowland Winter, I look forward to seeing and sharing a beer. We drink lots and lots of beer up at high altitude because it works amazingly well.
I think there is a few going over for winter, so
lovely. Well, have safe travels, and Greg will definitely share a beer in July, brother.
Sounds good. Thanks, Stretch.
Lovely. More than welcome, sir. Take care. See you, Australia. Love ya.